In this video, I'm going to share step by step how to create your vision board for 2025 or whenever it is that you're watching this, and the key steps that you might not have been taught to make it actually work. So, if you are wanting to bring something, someone, or some experiences into your life in 2025, then this video is definitely for you. Hi, my name is Emmy, and welcome to L3 Philosophy, where we talk about all the things that can help you better L3. Love yourself, love your relationships, and love your life, especially during times of challenge or life transition. So let's get into today's topic. So I love the topic of vision boards, and I've only made a handful over the course of my life, but that doesn't mean that I'm not visioning all the time. So just because I'm not making new vision boards doesn't mean that I'm not being intentional about what I'm creating, what I'm trying to bring into my life, and also what I'm trying to let go of. So as far as the vision boards that I have made, and this is going to be different for everybody, I have noticed that it has taken about 1 to 5 years to fully bring everything that's been on my board into reality. But pretty much everything that I have put on my boards have basically come to life. So why is this? Why does it sometimes take time? Why does it feel like your vision board might not be working or there's no point in making one? So this is the thing that you might not have been told or taught about how to make a vision board that makes it actually work. And so here's the thing, is that most people just kind of focus on the things that they want. So maybe they're like, I want a new car. So they put a car on the vision board, or I want a new house. They put a picture of a house on a vision board, which is all well and good. Like, go ahead and put all the things that you want and dream of on your vision board. The only thing that I realized was the missing piece is that I had to become the person that I need to be in order to have those things. Otherwise, I'm not going to get them. And that is a process. So it requires growth, evolution, it requires awareness, and it requires a lot of transformation. And a lot of times it can be really uncomfortable to go through those changes, but they have to happen in order for you to actualize what is on your board. Now, that has been the case for me, and I am curious to know if you have had these similar experiences too. So the thing about vision boards is that just because we make one or we put things on there doesn't mean that we just kind of sit around and wait for those things to come into our lives or just kind of show up. Basically, we have to be constantly growing, learning more about the thing that we want, that we put on our board. We have to be taking inspired action, like little tiny baby steps all the time, moving toward the things on our board. So we also have to remain open to opportunities, people that come into our lives, things that we might have been blind to. And now that they're on our board, we're kind of noticing like, oh, that's interesting. Let me kind of explore that further. Maybe it could be an opportunity. So it could just kind of also show up to you in a different form. So something that maybe you were expecting, maybe like in the form of a type of job that you want, might come in a different form, but it's going to have all the components that you want. So I'll go into this a little bit more in a moment, but basically what other people I don't think do a good job of explaining is that a vision board is a visual representation of who you need to be in order to have the reality that you want. So those things, those visuals are just there as a reminder of what you're constantly striving for regarding what you're thinking about, your thoughts. Are they supportive? Are they positive? Are they optimistic? Or are you like, I'm never going to get that. I'll never be able to do this. I'll never be able to do that. I am not the kind of person that does this or that. So you have to be monitoring your thoughts and seeing if they're supporting the things that are actually on your board. But you also have to think about these are visual representation of the actions that you should be taking in your life, and also, most importantly, your way of being. Am I the kind of person right now who can have the things that I put on this vision board? So this whole thing is a process. And that's another thing I don't think people realize. It's like, oh, I made a vision board, so now I should get all the stuff I want. No, it's a process that you have to go through. You right now are at point A. You are simply creating a vision. You're imagining all of the things you want to bring into your life that aren't here yet. So you're at a point A and you're trying to get to a point B. And so there's a process that you have to go step by step in order to make that happen. So, I want you to just remember that when you're making your vision board, this is the time to have so much fun. It's the time to enjoy this creative time. It's the time to enjoy your creative expression where you get to tap into your kind of childlike imagination, your sense of wonder and awe. Like, remember dreaming as a kid, and hopefully you still do it, but remember dreaming as a kid and be like, ah, wouldn't it be so cool if we could do this? Or wouldn't it be so cool if this happened? Like, use your imagination, and there are no limits in this kind of dreaming phase of your vision board. So, this is an opportunity to kind of arrange your limitless ideas into a visual that will then remind you of what is possible. Now, sometimes we can have a really hard time believing that the things that we're putting on our vision board are actually possible. Like maybe you will put, I want to go on an African safari someday. I think that would be so cool. But in your head, you're like, oh, I'm not the kind of person who kind of takes risks and does adventures like that. I'm more of a kind of person who just kind of like chills out next to the pool, the beach. And that's okay if you are that kind of person. But if in your body you're like, I really think that would be so cool to do someday, then you're limiting yourself based on who you think you are, or maybe who you are right now. So I encourage you to just kind of think about what kind of person would go on an African safari. What are they doing? What are they thinking? Who are they with? How are they spending their time? So just think about if you're having a hard time believing it, like, oh, this could never happen for me, go to Google and research other people who have done the same thing that you want to do, or maybe have the same thing that you want to have. You hear a lot of stories about people who went from rags to riches. Maybe they were playing guitar in their room on YouTube, and then they got discovered, and now they're super popular and a celebrity. And we see those stories and they're like, well, that's cool, but that could never happen to me. But simply hearing the stories of people who have done something or gotten something or, met the love of their life and have the relationship that they're so happy in, just by hearing those stories, you can believe that it's possible. Like someone in the world did this already. And then B, the next step is just kind of using that story as inspiration. Use it as a model. What did they do? How did they act? How did they think? Where did they place themselves environment-wise? Maybe when I say environment, I mean like in your immediate environment, but also in the world. So there's a lot of things that you can do to kind of help yourself open up your imagination and just come out of those limits that we place on ourselves. And when you're in this kind of visioning phase of making your vision board, you're in phase 2 of what is called the change cycle. And a life coach called Martha Beck calls it your dreaming and scheming phase. And so basically, when we go through changes in our life, there are periods of time where we might get the itch to do something different, or we might get restless and be like, there's got to be more out there for me. And these are the times when you're being prompted to kind of break out of your comfort zone and explore what is possible for you. And so this is the second phase of the change cycle, is that you're dreaming and scheming. You are opening up your mind to basically everything. So think about magic, okay? Just think anything is possible. Worry about the logic of how it's going to happen later. So, I also had an amazing interview with another life coach, and we talk about the 4 phases of the change cycle. So, if you want to know phase 1, which is pretty miserable, what comes before the dreaming and scheming, and then the two other phases after to help you kind of complete the cycle, then make sure you subscribe to the channel because I'll be releasing that interview in probably January or February, and you definitely want to get notifications. It's a really, really inspiring and eye-opening interview about how we can approach change in our lives. And so visioning is a part of this. It's a part of change. We have to know what we are kind of trying to create in order to kind of go with the flow of change in our lives. So I have that interview on L3 philosophy, and I also have a blog. So if you like it in written form, then you can check out my website there as well. Okay, so let's get into the actual steps of how to make a vision board step by step that actually works. So, as I said, the first thing you need to do before you even consider what's going on your board is that you have to answer a few questions. The first question that I really encourage you to go ahead and grab a journal right now if you want and answer this question. Write it out on paper. Spend some time reflecting and contemplating this question. The question is, who do you want to be? Now, this doesn't mean that you can't be yourself. This is the opposite. I am inviting you to still be you and also inviting yourself to think about the qualities that you will need to bring the people, the things, the experiences that you want into your life. So, for example, I want to be someone who travels more. I want to be someone who lives luxuriously. I want to be someone who has lots of supportive friendships. I want to be someone who has the romantic relationship of my dreams. So, this is what I mean. I don't mean that you should change who you are at all, but who do you want to be? Who do you have to be to bring what you want into your life? So that's the first thing I want you to think about. Who do I want to be? Someone who, right? So for example, on my so I have a vision board that is next to my bed, which I'll tell you more about later, but I also have an action board, which I have over my desk that I work at. And so those are reminding me of the actions that I need to take in order to make my vision board a reality. So on my action board, I have statements like this: I am someone who, right? So, because on my vision board, I have things about having like a successful business and really helping as many people as possible heal their hearts so that they can heal, rebuild, and start over. I have some words, excuse me, um, that are things that I need to think and believe about myself in order to make my business a reality. So, I have things like I am the kind of person who figures things out easily. For example, I am not a good technology person, and that has been like the bane of my existence since I started my business. But I know I have to be the kind of person that figures things out when I am up against challenges or obstacles. Whether I reach out to someone else to help me or I figure it out myself, which has been mostly the case, that is the kind of person I need to be in order to kind of attract the success in my business that I want. That's just one example. So that's what I mean by who do you want to be? I have to be the kind of person who dot dot dot. Okay. Question number two. These step one is all questions before you even begin your vision board. You have to reflect on these. Step number two, why do you want those things? So when you answer the question why you want them, it can help you understand how it would feel to have them. Well, because if I have this, then it would make me happy, or it would make me feel successful, or it would make me feel loved, or whatever it is. So I want you to identify why you want the things that you want, and also how it would feel if you have them, or when you have them. Now, go beyond just writing them out and also spend time actually feeling them in your body. Close your eyes, visualize your ideal situation. Like you've just attracted the thing into your life. How do you feel? Allow your body to connect with that vision, with that idea. Okay, so question number three that you're doing in step number one. Um, Oh, actually, no, this is just an example. Sorry. So, when I work with clients as a life coach, I specifically help people with like breakups, divorces, relationships, and also basically navigating life transitions or challenges. Um, I always have people very easily telling me what their problems are, what they're struggling with, the miserable emotions that they feel that they don't want to feel. And then when I ask them, how do you want to feel? Or what do you want? They always stop and they're like, huh, I'm not sure. And they have to really think about it. So, this is really, really key. How are we going to get the things that we want in our life into our life if we're not clear about what they even are? So, how would we know what steps that we need to take in order to get those things or achieve something if we're not really clear about what they are? So, if this question number four, or actually really number three, is if there were absolutely no limits, what would I bring into my life or like to experience? So, I think you should really write those things down with your hand and try to get as clear as possible. Okay. Once you've answered those questions in step one, you can move on to step two. Step two is you are doing the biggest brainstorm of your life so far. You are going to grab a journal and you're going to write down everything that you want right now. Like maybe you want your focus to be on bringing something into your life this year or in the next 5 years. You don't have to vision out your entire life. I mean, that's impossible. There's just so much, we can't map out our whole life, but we can be really focused about what we want to bring in kind of in the present moment and the near future. So brainstorm about exactly what you want and at least have an idea of what that looks like and feels like. So it could be one specific thing, or it could be things in different areas of your life. So when I do my vision boards, I enjoy incorporating different areas of my life. So I usually kind of map it out into quadrants like relationships, my home, my career and work, and then just kind of like my fun life, like what I want to do to grow or learn or have fun or play. And you don't have to do that at all, but I have found that I enjoy that because it seems kind of more whole and well-rounded than just focusing on one thing. So I do have some examples. When I did my vision board a while ago. So the last vision board I did before my current one, I was really, really wanting to draw in a healthy, loving relationship. And so all of the things that I put on my vision board about that took up like half of the poster. And then the other half was all the other areas of my life because that was like my main focus. But my vision board now has about equal quadrants for each one because I did bring in a partner and my vision board now has more to do with like my business, my community, things I want to learn and do, my home, what I want that to feel like. So it's totally up to you. So, another thing I want you to consider is that you do not have to have everything figured out at all. Basically, what you're doing is you're listening to little whispers from your intuition or from your soul's desires that maybe you've been dismissing or pushing down or, really not letting come to the surface or maybe just ignoring. So, for example, when I was making my current vision board about a year and a half ago, I just kept having the idea of retreat come into my mind. And I wasn't really sure if I was supposed to be going to a retreat as a participant or hosting one for other people, because that's in my line of work. And I thought that that would be a cool thing as well. So even though I was uncertain about what I wanted to do with a retreat, I put it on my board anyway. And just this past month, I was presented with an opportunity to go to a retreat as a participant that felt really, really aligned with where I am in my life right now and what I want to achieve. And so now I have clarity around the retreat. I know I am supposed to go as a participant. Maybe I'll host them in the future, but that's okay. It's on my board. I knew there was something around it when I made the board, and now I feel really clear and certain about it. And time has passed. It's like a year and a half later that I'm clear about it. And that's okay. So I just want you to remember that. If you're getting, some ideas come in your head, just like put it on there. Anyways. So let's see. Another example that I have on my board right now that I wasn't really sure about is a podcasting microphone. Now, I've been a guest on many, many podcasts just because of my line of work and the fact that I'm an author. And so I put it on there, not really sure if it's because I just, thought I would be doing a lot more podcasts or if I wanted to have my own podcast. Having my own podcast has been an idea in my head for many, many years, actually, since I started my business. I love the idea of it. I love interviewing people. And it's actually what I did when I started my business. I started my YouTube channel and I was interviewing people. And then I stopped after a little while because I started to go away from my intuition. And I started listening to the advice of all of the experts that I was hiring to help me with my business. And granted, their strategies are probably very helpful and work for a lot of people. I was listening more to that than what I really felt called to do, which was to continue interviewing people and to have a podcast. And so now, recently, I just looked, I keep looking at my vision board and the podcasting mic is on there. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to start this L3 philosophy because I know it's really what I enjoy doing and it feels expansive. It feels like the right thing to do and it feels like the right time to do it. So again, you can have something on your vision board that you're having a feeling about or a thought about, and you might not be super clear about it yet. But when it's on there, you'll then know when the right time is to address it. Okay. So just listen to your whispers and trust that you'll know what to do when you're presented with the opportunity and it feels aligned. Okay. So after you've done your brainstorming, you are ready for step number two, which is now you get to find the visuals to represent all of the things in your brainstorm. So you can go and search up images on the internet. You can use pictures, graphics, words, whatever resonates with you most. They could be pictures of actual places or actual things, or they could be kind of a representation of a feeling that you want to have. It could also be something that elicits a feeling within you. So I would highly advise that you get as specific as possible when you are searching for your images. Now, I am really serious about finding images that are almost exactly what I'm looking for to draw in. So, for example, when I was looking for images to put on my board around what I want my home to look like and feel like, I scoured for like so many pictures of kitchens and living rooms, and I would not choose something until I found like pretty much exactly what I would want it to look like. And then I would use those images and put those on my board. So even if it's like almost just right, I encourage you to keep on searching until you find something it's like, that is what I want. Another thing, as an example, is like instead of just putting the word vacation, on your vision board, get specific. Like, where do you want to go on vacation? Do you want to go to Italy? Then put pictures of Italy on your board. Do you want to go on an African safari? Then put pictures of that on your board. Get into the nitty-gritty. Maybe you want to go to Aruba, Australia. Put the specifics. Like, what will you be wearing? Like, find people wearing the kinds of clothing that you would want to wear or that you would be wearing. Who would you be going with? Stick people's faces on there, Um, all of the things. What kind of food would you be eating? So get specific. So when I was really, really trying to attract a relationship into my life, which I was just telling you about on my old vision board, I found lots of different images of all the things that I wanted to be doing and feeling with my partner. So I had pictures of couples like in a car holding up a map because they were on a road trip together. Or I had, a couple dancing in the kitchen. I had couples like laughing so hard they were like almost crying together. So it was capturing how I wanted to feel in a relationship through multiple different pictures. Maybe they were like holding hands, walking around, or lots of like hugging and snuggling. So I put different pictures of that all around kind of like my relationship side of my board. So I encourage you to really find things that resonate with you and that elicit a feeling because this is the point. It's a visual representation. So every time you look at it, you want to feel the feeling. You want to feel good and you want to be like, yes, I feel it. It's here. It's on its way. Okay, after you do that, you find all of your pictures, then you're going to decide what media to use. So now I just said you could do like a Google search and find images. That's the way that I like to do it just because I can be so specific when I'm searching for something and usually there's something that comes up that fits the description that I'm putting in. But, maybe you're somebody who prefers to cut out pictures and words from magazines. Maybe you want to use images from the internet, like I said. Or maybe instead of doing, an actual poster where you cut out things and glue and paste, maybe you want to do a digital representation. I'd made a digital vision board, like a small one on Canva before for my business and for my book. Basically, it was really fun actually because I envision my spicy memoir to become like a Netflix series. I think it would be amazing. And so what I did was I using Canva, I put pictures of myself like on talk shows and I was like holding my book. So I had like me with my book next to Jimmy Fallon and I had me, next to Reese Witherspoon and she was like, "Oh, she was so excited because she chose it for, the book of her month club or whatever." So it was really fun because using the digital things, I could like superimpose myself in different places and with different people. So that was a fun project. So there's lots of different ways that you can create your vision board. Again, just have fun with it. The last two kind of life vision boards that I made, I did do it on huge poster board, like just like the ones that you do in elementary school where you have to do a project and like make a poster. That is how big my vision boards are. Huge poster boards. My current one is just on regular poster board that I tacked up onto the wall next to my bed so that I look at it every night before I go to bed and then every morning when I wake up. And then my old vision board was actually on like a durable, it was like, it was almost like styrofoam, like a durable poster so that I could lean it up against my headboard, yeah, of my bed, because I had one for where I was living. So anyway, I digress. But yeah, I encourage you to find something that takes up space so that you give yourself the opportunity to just be super creative and you're not limited to anything just because of size, but also so that you can easily see the images and the words without having to strain or like go in close. Okay. You also want to make sure that it's really visually pleasing to you when you look at it. You want to have good feelings when you look at it. Okay. Step 4 is have fun. Have so much fun. Like, think back to arts and crafts day when you were a kid and the teacher was like taking out the glue sticks, the markers, the glitter, the brightly colored construction paper, the scissors, and you just like go to town. And it's just so fun when you get to play with all of those things and just let your creativity flow. Step number 5. So, this is the final step, and it is to hang it somewhere that you will see it and look at it every day. Now, I just said I look at mine every night and every morning. Sometimes I just kind of glance at it, but there's a lot of times where I find myself, because the first thing I do before I go to bed is I walk up to like the little table beside my bed and I plug in my phone. I take my chapstick, and so my vision board is right there. And so what I really like to do is just to get curious. Like, every time I look at it, it's almost like I'm looking at it for the first time. And I'm just noticing like what comes up inside of me. I'm also noticing anything that I might not have noticed about the picture before, or just like reminding myself what's on there. Um, Looking at the details and just notice if you can see something that you didn't see before. Or maybe something will pop into your head, like an idea while you're looking at it, that can lead to an action that you can take. So remember that your vision board is a visual representation of who you need to be in order to have the reality that you want. So when you look at those visuals, it is a reminder of what you should be striving for in your thoughts, in your actions, which is your behavior, and in your being. So if you need more help or more clarity around what should go on your vision board or how to bring in what you want in your life, then you can feel free to schedule a call with me. I'll put the link in the description to see if we would be a good fit to work with each other. I can definitely tell you that once people have clarity around what they want, it becomes so much easier to figure out the little action steps that they can take to get them from point A to point B. And I have helped many, many people do that. So until next time, it is my pleasure to believe in you and also to celebrate everything that you bring into the world. I look forward to seeing you in our next video and see you soon.